Hello, MotoAmerica fans, and welcome to this special video edition of Off Track with Carruthers and Bice. I am Bice, and Carruthers is on the far side, and in the middle here we have Mr. Maxwell Toth, who I like to refer to as Max Toth. And we have him here in this video version because you look at Max and you talk to Max, and you're going to find out he looks and talks like he's about 30 years old.
He doesn't look 30.
Well, okay, he doesn't look 30, but he sounds like he. Anyway, Max is 15 and a half. And I met him last year at Laguna Seca, and I didn't even realize he was 14. I went into the paddock and I was asking around, hey, where's Max Toth? And this guy came over and I was like, okay, fine, but where's Max? so anyway, Max had been racing in our junior cup class exclusively, our sport bike track gear.com junior cup class, but he's got an announcement to make. So we want to start out there. So welcome, Max, and tell us about your situation.
Well, first of all, I'm happy to be here. It's super, super fun. First time I've ever done something like this, so I'm excited. So yeah, Robem essentially gave me the opportunity to ride the twins, and we were planning on riding the twins since last year, November, obviously, and we didn't quite get the chance from the first round all the way until what was it, the last round, Brainerd. So I'm really excited that Robem is giving me that opportunity now, and I'm looking to finish the season off really strong and have a fun time on it.
Now, you were one of these riders that we heard a lot about before you started racing with us. I heard a lot of Max Toth. That's why I wanted to meet you at Laguna Seca. And, it seems like kind of interesting. You're 15 and you're not really giving up on Junior Cup, but you're moving up to Twins Cup. Tell us about that strategy and the fact that, it's a jump. And some of these guys that were in Junior Cup take that as the next step at times. So tell us about your decision to do it.
I mean, for us originally, the Junior Cup was supposed to be kind of a filler class to the Twins. So I've been racing, the small bikes, kind of this type of size bike, like the 400, for the last 2 years with the pre-Moto 3 and Moto 3 over in Italy. And so for us personally, we thought that it was the time to make the jump onto the bigger bikes and wider tires, more horsepower. And so for us, that was kind of always the main goal. So we don't see it as really, throwing the Junior Cup away or taking the big jump. It's just kind of where we wanted to leave off at the beginning of the season. It's just delayed.
And you told us you're 6'2".
Yes.
Which I think that's pretty much the same size as Benjamin Gladi. I think he's around 6'1", 6'2".
It's about the same, yeah.
Okay.
We've compared multiple times just to make, see who's the tallest.
And you guys are close to the same age. And a lot of the younger riders, you included, are pretty tall. So do you think, is a Twins Cup bike ergonomically a little better for you? Is that a factor in you moving up to that class?
It's definitely going to be a lot more comfortable. I mean, the Ninja 400 has really limited space, especially when it comes to tucking or when it comes to leaning off. And so the Twins is definitely, I've ridden the stock version of the bike before, and I've ridden 600 as well, and it's a lot bigger, a lot more spacious. You can get a lot more comfortable on it. So that's one thing that's definitely better.
And also the horsepower is going to help too.
Yes, for sure.
I want to talk about the Ridge.
We definitely need to talk about that.
Everybody wants to talk about the Ridge.
You're probably sick of talking about the Ridge, but I have a few questions. Namely, did you think you were totally screwed? I mean, if I was in that position, or maybe you don't have time to think that.
It was strange because it was.
Hold on, we're talking about his big crash. Yeah. He got run over. His legs were completely run over.
Three times.
You've probably seen the video, and if not, we'll show it to you again. But it's crazy. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, it was really strange because I came out of the corner. The bike felt a little bit loose on the rear, so already there, I kind of felt that I stepped out of my race line, and then I went onto the curb, grabbed a shift, and then all of a sudden, not even thinking about it, not even realizing it, just the curb. Boom, drops off and ends and goes straight back into asphalt. And so once the front tire kind of dropped off, there was almost a pothole too at the end of it. So once it dropped off, I felt the whole bike just go down, and then front went a little bit. From there, it spun the rear out. And then once it came back, I'm like, well, it's over. It's no saving it. I hit the floor. Everything was moving so quickly. I didn't even know that Cody ran me over until I saw the footage.
Oh, so
I was just spinning so much. I felt it, but I just kind of felt
a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah, I just felt a lot of stuff. I felt that I kind of got hit here, hit there, hit there. So I didn't even know that I got ran over until I saw the footage at the end. It just moved so quickly. Usually crashes happen slowly, but this one was just so quick. And so I got up and I immediately knew that thumb was broken or something in here was broken, because it just, there's that certain sensation that you get when you move the finger, and even with the adrenaline rush, you can kind of feel that almost rubber banding feeling of where it's trying to pull that, bone or ligament back or whatever. And so I was praying that it wasn't maybe just a bruise, but ended up being broken. So
is that hard? Is it hard to watch that video? I can't imagine watching that video of myself getting run over. I mean, okay, you're watching it when you know you're okay, but still, I'd be like, what?
It's hard now. I think more so that I've seen it a million times, right? And now every time I watch it, it's just to see me get run over. But I think the first 50 times I played it back was honestly just to analyze what happened, just to see, well, why did I run off? Where was I? When did I grab the shift? Where was my body? When it did run off, how could I have saved it? How could I have prevented it from, sliding this way and that way? So it was more learning the first times I've seen it, but now it got reposted. I see it on Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and now it's just, okay, I'm seeing myself getting run over, and that's all I get from this.
Were your legs bruised or anything?
There wasn't even visible bruising.
That's crazy.
Did you drink a lot of milk?
Yeah, that must be.
I do. I actually do. I mean, I have a bowl of 3 bowls of cereal. Again, I was in a phase for 3 months before the Ridge where I would have a bowl of cereal every day. So that's probably what saved me. That's probably it.
Eat cereal now.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
I think we've all seen these viral videos where you got a kid on a bicycle, and all his friends are lying down like hot dogs on the ground, and the guy's going to jump off a ramp over his buddies. That's basically what Cody did to Max.
Yeah,
I mean, but he missed completely. He went right over him, and
he got
it's just to see it.
He got airtime.
He did. He did. He definitely jumped you for sure.
Yep.
But it's weird of everything that could have happened there, that you ended up breaking your thumb. And you could see what happened. Your hand kind of got caught in the front wheel a little bit, right? The tire.
It looks like it just got hit by the wheel. I think it was the first thing that got hit over my 2 legs. And you can just see the force of the rotation just yanks it down. I mean, I'm honestly really grateful that it didn't tear or damage anything in my elbow or in my shoulder, because you can see my whole arm just from here, just bang, folded down.
Yeah.
So, but not everybody saw it the first time they saw the video. Everybody assumed, oh, your legs are broken.
On the leg.
Yeah. Or people even ask, how did his hand break? What did his hand touch? And no, you have to go back and you have to, zoom in on me getting run over. There's a little bit, the hand got taken by the wheel.
It's just, have you ever broken a bone before?
Oh, many.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Many. I mean, most of my racing injuries have been in my hand. I've broken here on the thumb, here on the wrist, here on the pinky, So
wow.
Have you ever thought about crashing, Les?
No.
It's kind of part of what it is.
I got to push, and sometimes you have to override the bike sometimes, especially when it comes down to not knowing the track, lack of track knowledge, weight to horsepower ratio. I'm one of the biggest guys. I have to override the bike. So
right.
Sometimes if I want to keep up with the first place, I'll take risks, and okay, I benefited out of that, but sometimes you end up in a pothole and you break your thumb. It's just it's part of the gig.
Have you ever, this is a weird way to put it, but this idea of, in order to find the limit, you don't even approach it. You have to almost go over the limit and realize, okay,
sure. For sure. I mean, that's one thing that I've been training for even since I was 6, 7 years old. I mean, even in parking lot drills, mini bices, it's always over the limit. It's always getting out of the comfort zone, because you can go over the limit once and turn that new limit into your comfort zone. But then from there, now what? Well, you need to keep breaking those boundaries, breaking that barrier. And, whether you're going to crash that day and go home with a broken bike, well, you need to define that limit. You need to train that way.
Tell us about how you got started. I mean, you're still young, but you've obviously been riding for a long time. Tell us when you started, what you rode, and how you made it to this point.
So I started at the age of, I think the first bike I had was an electric bike. It was a little electric cheap motocross bike, probably $500, whatnot. And that's kind of what I learned ride a motorcycle with. I had a Strider for 2 years, a year and a half before then. So I kind of got the balance part of it down. And then from there, I moved on to my first real motorcycle, which was a PW50, which came with training wheels, and we had to yank them off. My dad was like, nope, it's starting on the 2 wheels. And so from there, we just kind of worked up. We got, the SX50 or the SX Mini Adventure KTM. They had that little, it was like a PW50, but KTM. Then SX50. Then from there, the KX65, which we had for I mean, I still have it to this day for God knows how many years, but it's just moving up slowly, but always finding the limit on each bike that we rode.
And all of this, obviously, you've done some dirt riding. Do you do any flat track? Is this all road racing that you're doing on kart tracks?
I haven't touched dirt for probably 3 years.
It's just not something you just are a road racer. That's what you want to do.
For us, we feel that if we're road racing, if this is the sport that I'm doing, if this is the type of motorcycle racing that I want to excel in, that's what I need to be training. And so, for me, I have school during the week. I still go to a regular school. I'm not homeschooled or anything. I have to show up to classes and, get in homework and whatnot. So the only times that I can really be on the track is Saturdays and Sundays on the weekends. And for us, it's not worth sacrificing that little time that we have to train to go on dirt, because now there's the risk of I miss hitting the triple and now my femur's, broken out of my bone. Whereas if we just went to the kart track on a solid day of training, that's much more valuable to us. Mm-hmm. So it's all about maximizing the time.
What do you think about our Mini Cup by Motul? I mean, you think you would have done it if we would have had it then, right?
If I would have been younger and 2 feet shorter, I probably would have been doing it. It looks really, really fun. I honestly wish that they had more rounds, because it's very fun to watch from the outsider's perspective too.
Yeah, and by the way, we're at Pittsburgh International Race Complex, or Pit Race. They have a kart track here, so this is going to be one of our rounds of the Mini Cup by Motul. So riders who are not a lot younger than Max are racing, and that's kind of our first stars of our series, then Junior Cup and kind of Twins Cup Super Sport from there. But let's talk a little bit more about Twins Cup and about Robem specifically, because that is a pretty well organized team, large team, got a lot of infrastructure in there. Matt Spicer is one of those guys that, he's not even on my level mentally. He's like always thinking somewhere ahead. How well do you know them so far, and what do you think about your teammates and how it's going to go?
I don't know them too well. I got a chance to meet them at Brainerd last round, and I got a little tour of how they work and how they function, and what data they look at and how they work with the bikes, with mechanics, blah blah blah. So they look like a very, very well-rounded team, a very good functioning team, and I really like how they work just from the little bit that I've seen. So I'm excited to see more.
What are your expectations moving up? I mean, you've obviously got a good bike.
For us, it's honestly shooting for a podium. I mean, top 5, top 6. I mean, now this round, the expectation is a little bit less because I've never ridden the bike before. I've never ridden the track before. It's the weather conditions. It might rain. So for us, it's kind of, we have to take small steps at first. But once we get comfortable with the bike, comfortable with the team, I'm aiming for top 5s and podium finishes.
And the rest of the tracks you have been to?
No, I have not. But we haven't had trouble learning tracks so far this year. So.
Yeah, it was weird. Last year you did Laguna Seca. Was that the only round in our series that you did?
Yes.
Okay, so all these tracks in this side of the country are new to you.
Laguna Seca was the only track this year that I've ever been to, and I didn't even race Laguna. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was out from the injury from the race.
Oh, right, of course. Well, you raced last year when you were there. That's right. But this year it's been interesting because correct me if I'm wrong on this, but as of the Ridge, it seems like your results have been really good. I mean, barring the injury, but we've seen you in the press conferences, so you've been around more. Were you coming into your own on that bike? And I'm thinking, wow, the kid's learning Junior Cup. Apologize for calling you kid.
No, of course.
Okay. But now you're gonna be like, oh no, I'm gonna go to Twins Cup now, and you're okay with that?
Yeah, I'm very okay. I mean, the results were they've been in since the first few rounds. It's just been a little bit unlucky, I think, with some circumstances like, something in my throat.
That's right.
The altercation with Cody at the first round in Atlanta, him clipping my front wheel and obviously going down there. Then the second race wasn't as lucky, finishing 4th. I mean, we were in the front pack, but we weren't in the podium positions. And, we had some races with success, like MotoAmerica. We had the second race podium, almost winning it, but with the draft, we hit the dirt. And so, I mean, it's been there since the first round. It's just been about luck and placement.
Okay, so we've approached the point in the podcast where we need to talk about this situation with Max. That I talked to him last night because we knew we were going to do this podcast today. Now, picture, if you will, Chicago, Illinois. We're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Geographically, that's quite a ways away. You'd normally fly from Chicago to Pittsburgh, and that was Max's plan until the airline kind of messed that up. And so I talked to Max last night, and we talked about what time we wanted him to be here. And as we're speaking to you now, it's Thursday, around midday. And Max said, I can, can you be there at 11? And I think, what time was it I talked to you? I think it was like 10 or 11 o'clock.
10:30 p.m., yeah.
So I'm like, in 12 hours, he's got to get from Chicago to Pittsburgh. And I know from where I live in mid-Ohio, it's about 6 hours. So it's 3 hours here. We're talking like maybe 9-hour, 10-hour trip. I don't know how you did it. Tell us, and did you sleep? Who drove? How did that work?
I mean, it's all my dad, honestly. He drove us from, something in my throat.
That's right.
No, so he drove us from all the way from Chicago to here. And it's all him who made the drive. I mean, I was just in the passenger seat, chilling, sleeping.
It's good that you don't have a license, because
exactly.
Then it would be a situation where you would have probably had to tag team. But your dad drove that entire way, though. And your dad, I mean, let's give a shout out to your dad, Bert.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
He tremendous. The parents that support you guys in the paddock. It's incredible what they do and what they'll do to get you guys to the track. And is there a background for him in road racing as well? I mean, where does the passion arise from?
He used to race supermoto. So
okay.
He would do some local races, our local championship, and that's where he kind of got his racing background from, and that's where I started from.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Guys, he's not choking up because of the emotions of this whole thing.
I thought he was.
I wish we had a bottle of water to give you here, but But anyway,
I'm good.
So anyway, he came across. He's in Pittsburgh now. I went over to his paddock area, and I'm like, wow, you're really here. He put his shirt on. He's freshly new to Robem Engineering, and he's going to race with that team the rest of the season. So, we want to wish you all the luck in the world. We're doing that. And we'll hope to see and expect to see you up in the press conference. Paul and I will be. Yep. Paul will be asking you the questions, and I'll be smiling. So,
perfect.
Paul, is there anything else you want to?
No, I just anybody that's close and it's in the area, they should consider coming here, because I think this place in the past has shown that it's an awesome place to watch motorcycle races, and it's always close racing.
Yeah.
And from the super bikes on down, we have like 6 support class races here, counting the mini cup. So there's tons of stuff for him to see. So I highly recommend getting down this way if you're anywhere where you can jump in the car and go, or jump on the motorcycle and ride down.
Yeah, and it's such a good location. I mean, we have a lot of fans that talk about why isn't Mid-Ohio on the schedule? Well, there are some reasons why that we don't need to get into today, but a lot of the fans that have been over in Mid-Ohio, or fans from this area that have come to this track, feel like it's supplanted Mid-Ohio as being the track in this area, and they love it. We've got the hill where the fans hang out, and it's a well-attended race venue, and this weekend we're gonna have a lot of fans, so we're really looking forward to seeing you guys. Come and see Max race, and come and see Paul too, and say hi to him as well. So thanks a lot for joining us on this podcast. Thank you, Max, for being on with us.
Of course.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
See you.